The information provided in this video is for educational and informational purposes only and does not constitute financial, legal, or aviation advice. You should consult with a qualified professional before making any decisions related to private aviation or significant financial expenditures. All figures and scenarios presented are illustrative. You think you need to be a billionaire to fly on a private jet. You picture celebrities and tech moguls stepping out of a black SUV and onto the tarmac, waving goodbye as their Gulfstream G650 rockets into the sky. And for a long time you were right. That was the reality. But what if I told you that picture is completely outdated? What if I told you the single biggest misconception about private aviation is that you have to own the plane? The truth is, the overwhelming majority of people flying private don't. They charter. And in the United States, the private jet charter market has exploded into a multi-billion-dollar industry that is more accessible right now than at any point in human history. But it's also an industry shrouded in secrecy, filled with confusing jargon, hidden fees, and sketchy players that can turn your dream trip into a financial nightmare. That ends today. This is your ultimate masterclass. We are going to pull back the curtain and show you exactly how private jet charters really work in the USA. By the end of this series, you won't just understand the lingo. You'll know how to navigate the system like a pro. You will learn how pricing is calculated down to the dollar, the critical difference between a broker and an operator, how to spot a scam from a mile away, and the secret strategies insiders use to get the best possible price on the safest possible aircraft. We're going to turn you into the smartest person in the room on this topic. So let's start by demolishing the biggest myth of all: the cost. Everyone assumes it costs $100,000 every time you step on a private plane. And it can, but it can also be surprisingly reasonable. Forget the price of owning a $20 million jet. Forget the $500,000 a year maintenance bills, the pilot salaries, the hangar fees. When you charter, you pay for one thing and one thing only: your trip. You are essentially renting the plane, the pilots, and the entire experience for a specific flight. Think about it this way. If you and 7 of your colleagues need to fly from New York to Chicago for a critical meeting, you could buy 8 last-minute, first-class tickets for, say, $1,500 each. That's $12,000. You'll spend an hour getting to the airport, 2 hours navigating security and waiting at the gate, 3 hours in the air, and another 30 minutes deplaning and getting your bags. Your $12,000 trip just cost you 6.5 hours each. A light jet charter for that same trip might cost around $15,000. Yes, it's more. But for that price, all 8 of you arrive at a private terminal 10 minutes before your flight, walk onto the plane, and take off. The flight is faster, you can hold your meeting on the plane, and you land at an airport closer to your final destination, completely avoiding the chaos of O'Hare. You just bought back an entire day of productivity. Suddenly, that price difference doesn't just make sense, it's a competitive advantage. This is the fundamental secret. Private aviation isn't about luxury, it's about utility. It's a time machine. The real currency isn't champagne and leather seats. It's minutes, hours, and days. That's the product. Let's break down the 4 real reasons people charter, because it's almost never just about avoiding the middle seat. First, and most importantly, is time. The average time from arrival at a commercial airport to takeoff is about 2 hours. At a private airport, or what's called an FBO, a fixed-base operator, it's about 15 minutes. You literally drive your car onto the tarmac, your bags are loaded, you show your ID, and you get on the plane. There are over 5,000 public airports in the United States, but the major airlines only serve about 500 of them. Private jets can land at all 5,000. This means you can fly directly from a small airport near your home to a small airport minutes from your destination, completely bypassing the hub-and-spoke system that forces you to fly from Atlanta to Denver just to get to Aspen. For a business executive who needs to visit 3 different factories in 3 different states in one day, commercial travel is impossible. With a private charter, it's just a Tuesday. The second reason is privacy. This is the obvious one, but its importance can't be overstated. Imagine you're the CEO of a company about to make a major acquisition. The last thing you want is for a competitor to see you and your entire executive team flying to the headquarters of your target company. A private charter is a flying cone of silence. It's a secure, confidential boardroom at 40,000 feet. It's for families dealing with a medical emergency who need to transport a loved one with dignity and discretion. It's for anyone who simply doesn't want their travel plans to be a matter of public record. Third is flexibility. Your commercial flight is canceled due to weather? You're stuck. With a charter, your pilot and flight coordinator are actively working to change the flight plan, find a different route, or even switch to an airport an hour away that isn't affected. Your meeting runs late? No problem, the plane waits for you. You need to add a last-minute passenger? Done. You want to bring your 2 golden retrievers in the cabin with you? Of course. You are in complete control of the schedule. The aircraft operates for you, not the other way around. And the 4th reason is efficiency. This is a combination of all the others. It's about more than just saving time. It's about maximizing its value. It's a construction team being able to haul specialized equipment directly to a remote job site. It's a band being able to play a show in Phoenix one night and another in Portland the next morning. A schedule that would be physically impossible using commercial airlines. It's the ability to work, conduct meetings, and speak freely in a private space, turning travel time into productive work time. So, you're not just paying to get from point A to point B. You're paying for speed, privacy, flexibility, and efficiency. Once you understand that, you start to see why, for so many businesses and individuals, chartering isn't a luxury expense. It's a strategic investment. It's a tool. But like any powerful tool, you have to know how it works to use it properly. And the entire industry hinges on the relationship between 2 key players you absolutely must understand before you ever even think about booking a flight. These are the people who will either get you the deal of a lifetime or take you for a ride. I'm talking about the air carrier, also known as the operator, and the charter broker. Understanding the profound difference between them, and who you should be dealing with, is the single most important piece of knowledge in this entire business. It is the foundation upon which everything else is built. And that is exactly what we are breaking down next. So let's get one thing straight. In the world of private aviation, there are only 2 types of companies you can give your money to. Only 2. Everyone you will ever speak to, every website you visit, every app you download falls into one of these 2 categories. They are either a broker or they are an operator. And the entire industry, from the slick marketing to the confusing contracts, is designed to obscure which one you're actually dealing with. Let's start with the broker. A charter broker is, in the simplest terms, a middleman, a matchmaker. They don't own any airplanes. They don't employ any pilots. They don't have a hangar with their name on it. Their entire business is built on a telephone and a deep database. Think of them like a high-end travel agent, but exclusively for private jets. Or even better, think of them as a real estate agent. A real estate agent doesn't own the houses they show you. They connect a person who wants to buy a house with a person who wants to sell a house. For that service, they take a commission. A private jet broker does the exact same thing. They connect you, the person who needs a jet, with the company that actually owns and operates one. When you call a broker and say, "I need a jet from New York to Miami tomorrow for 6 people," they don't look out their window at a fleet of planes. They get on their computer, and they blast out your request to a network of hundreds, sometimes thousands, of actual aircraft operators. Within minutes, they get back a flood of options. A Learjet 45 for this price, a Citation XLS for a little more, a Hawker 800 that's available a few hours later. They are market aggregators. Their value proposition is access and convenience. They do the legwork of finding available aircraft so you don't have to. They present you with a curated list of options, you pick one, you pay the broker, and the broker then pays the operator, keeping a slice for themselves. On the surface, this sounds great, right? A one-stop shop. And for many people, it is. The best brokers provide incredible service. They know the market inside and out. They know which operators have the best reputations. They can arrange catering, ground transportation, and handle all the complicated logistics. They are expert project managers. But here's the critical thing to understand about a broker. They have no direct, operational control over your flight. They are not the ones responsible for the maintenance of the aircraft. They are not the ones training the pilots. They are not the ones making the final go or no-go decision in bad weather. They are, legally and functionally, a salesperson. Their legal duty is primarily to you, the client, but their power to ensure your safety is indirect. They rely entirely on the professionalism and integrity of the second type of company, the operator. So, who is the operator? The operator is the source. They are the ones who actually hold what's called an air carrier certificate from the Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA. Specifically for charter, it's a Part 135 certificate. That certificate is everything. It is a license from the US government that says, "We have inspected this company, and they meet the rigorous, exhaustive standards required to fly the public for compensation." The operator is the company that owns or manages the physical airplane. They employ the pilots. They employ the mechanics. They have the multi-million-dollar insurance policies. They are the ones with grease under their fingernails. When you book a flight, whether you know it or not, it is a Part 135 operator that is ultimately responsible for every single aspect of your flight's safety. Think of it this way: if a broker is a travel agent, an operator is the airline. When you book a ticket on American Airlines through Expedia, Expedia is the broker. They sold you the ticket. But when you get to the airport, you're flying on an American Airlines plane with American Airlines pilots under American Airlines operational control. Expedia was just the storefront. The same is true in the private world. The operator is the one doing the actual flying. They have the final say. If their pilot inspects the plane before a flight and finds a tiny mechanical issue, they can ground the plane. The broker can scream and yell all they want about their important client, but the operator has the final absolute authority, because they are the ones whose name is on that FAA certificate. They are the ones whose entire existence is on the line with every single takeoff. Now, here is where it gets incredibly murky and where people get taken advantage of. The lines between these two are intentionally blurred. Many brokers present themselves in a way that makes you think they are operators. They'll use pictures of jets on their website, talk about their fleet, and use language that implies they are the ones in control. In reality, that fleet is just a collection of planes owned by other companies that they have access to. And this creates a dangerous illusion of control. Imagine a problem. Let's say your flight is scheduled for 8 a.m. At 7 a.m., the pilot at the airport does his pre-flight inspection and finds a small hydraulic leak. It's not safe to fly. The flight is canceled. If you book directly with the operator, you get a call from their head of operations. They tell you exactly what the issue is, what they're doing to fix it, and they immediately start looking at their other aircraft to see if they can get you a replacement. You are talking to the source. Now, imagine the same scenario, but you book through a broker. The operator calls the broker and tells them the plane is grounded. Now, your broker has to call you and deliver the bad news. You ask, "What's the problem?" The broker has to call the operator to find out. "When can we get a new plane?" The broker has to get back on the phone and start searching for a new option from a completely different operator. You are now one step removed from the action. And what if your broker used another broker to find the plane? It happens more than you think. Now you're 2 or 3 steps removed. It's a game of telephone with your multi-thousand-dollar trip on the line, and every layer in that chain is another point of failure, another potential for miscommunication, and another person adding their own markup to the final price. This is the core secret. The money and the information flow through a chain, and the person with the most power is the one closest to the airplane, the operator. Brokers exist because the industry is fragmented. There are over 2,000 Part 135 operators in the United States alone. Most are small, maybe with just a handful of planes. They don't have big marketing departments. They focus on flying, not on sales. So they rely on brokers to bring them customers. It's a symbiotic relationship. But the danger for you, the consumer, is not knowing who you're dealing with. Are you talking to a reputable broker with deep relationships and a sterling reputation? Or are you talking to a guy in his spare bedroom with a laptop, who just started last week and will place you on the absolute cheapest airplane he can find to maximize his own profit, regardless of the operator's safety record? Because he's not the one legally responsible for your safety, the operator is. The broker's primary risk is to his reputation. The operator's risk is to their very existence, and to the lives of their passengers and crew. Their skin is in the game in a way a broker simply is not. So the obvious conclusion seems to be, always book directly with an operator, right? Cut out the middleman. Well, not so fast. It's not that simple. Many of the very best, safest operators don't even accept calls directly from the public. They work exclusively through a trusted network of brokers. And what if the operator you call doesn't have a plane available? They can't help you. A good broker, on the other hand, can see hundreds of available aircraft in an instant. So we're left with a paradox. The broker offers convenience and access, but a layer of separation from the operation. The operator offers direct control and accountability, but might not have what you need, or even take your call. And to make it all impossibly more confusing, some companies are both. They are an operator that owns a few planes, but they also have a brokerage department that books flights on other companies' jets when their own are busy. This is called a hybrid model. You see why this is so confusing? It's a maze. And navigating it incorrectly can cost you tens of thousands of dollars, or worse, put you on a subpar aircraft with a crew you know nothing about. The power, the leverage, the ability to get the best price and ensure the highest level of safety, all comes down to one thing: knowing who you are really talking to at all times. So how do you do that? How do you cut through the slick sales pitch and the fancy website to find out if you're talking to the source or just a salesman? There is one simple question you can ask. A single sentence that will instantly reveal the truth. And that question is what we're covering in the very next part. The question is this: will you be the ones operating this flight under your own FAA air carrier certificate? That's it. That's the multi-million-dollar question. It's simple, direct, and it cuts through every layer of marketing, every slick sales pitch, and every gorgeous website. Because the answer to this question is governed not by a company's marketing department, but by federal law. And there are only two possible answers. Let's play this out. Imagine you found a company online called Apex Jet Group. Their website is stunning. Photos of gleaming Gulfstreams, testimonials from what look like Fortune 500 CEOs. You call them up, you get a quote for a trip from Los Angeles to Aspen, and everything sounds perfect. Then you drop the question. Just to confirm, will Apex Jet Group be the ones operating this flight under your own FAA air carrier certificate? Suddenly, the smooth, confident tone of the salesperson might change. You might hear a slight hesitation, a shuffle of papers, because if they are a broker, they are legally required to tell you the truth. Their response will sound something like this: well, Apex Jet Group is an authorized agent. We work with a network of premier, safety-vetted operators. The flight itself will be conducted by our operating partner, Starlight Aviation. Boom, there it is. In that single moment, you've pulled back the curtain. Apex Jet Group, despite its name and its image, does not fly airplanes. They don't employ pilots. They don't maintain jets. They are a middleman. A very sophisticated, often very good, but ultimately a middleman. They are a charter broker. Now let's imagine a different scenario. You call a company called Western Sky Charters. You ask them the exact same question. The response will be immediate, clear, and without hesitation. Yes, absolutely. We will be operating this flight on our Gulfstream G450, tail number N123WS, under our FAA Part 135 certificate, number WX7A884B. That is the sound of talking to the source. That is the sound of a direct operator. So why is this distinction so incredibly important? It all comes down to a concept that is the absolute bedrock of aviation safety and law in the United States: operational control. Operational control is an FAA term that basically asks, who is ultimately responsible for your life? Who has the authority to start, conduct, and terminate a flight? Who hires the pilots? Who trains them? Who is in charge of maintaining the aircraft to the FAA's rigorous standards? Who makes the final go or no-go decision if the weather looks bad or if a small mechanical issue pops up? The answer, by law, can only be the entity that holds the Part 135 air carrier certificate. A broker, by definition, cannot have operational control. They are legally prohibited from it. Their role is commercial. They find the customer, they find the airplane, they connect the two, and they take a commission. The operator is the one with the legal, logistical, and safety responsibility for every single aspect of that flight. Think of it this way. Booking through a broker is like using a wedding planner to hire a caterer. The planner can vet the caterer, negotiate the price, and coordinate the logistics. But on the day of the wedding, the planner isn't in the kitchen cooking your food. The caterer is. If the food is bad, it's the caterer's fault. If the food is incredible, it's the caterer's success. The planner is one step removed. When you book directly with a Part 135 operator, you're not talking to the wedding planner. You're talking directly to the head chef. You have a direct line of communication to the people who are actually in the kitchen, the ones with their hands on the ingredients, the ones with ultimate responsibility for the final product. This has massive implications. Let's say there's a last-minute change. You need to add a passenger. If you're with a broker, you call your broker. The broker then has to call the operator. The operator has to check the weight and balance calculations for the aircraft. The operator then calls the broker back with the answer. The broker then calls you. It's a game of telephone, with each step adding a potential for delay and miscommunication. If you're booked directly with the operator, you call the operator's dispatcher. They're likely sitting in the same building as the flight crew. They can walk over to the scheduling department, run the numbers, and give you an answer in minutes. It's a direct, clean line of communication, but it goes deeper than just convenience. It's about accountability. Let's say something goes wrong. Not a catastrophe, but a serious service issue. Maybe the jet has a mechanical problem, and the flight is delayed by 6 hours, causing you to miss a critical meeting. If you booked with a broker, who is really accountable? The broker will blame the operator for the mechanical issue. The operator might say the broker didn't communicate the urgency of your trip. You're stuck in the middle. When you deal directly with the operator, the buck stops there. It was their plane, their crew, their maintenance. They are 100% accountable for the experience, good or bad. Now, this is not to say that all brokers are bad. In fact, many are excellent and provide a valuable service. A good broker can be your expert guide to the entire market. A single operator might only have 5 planes. If all their planes are booked, they can't help you. A great broker, however, has relationships with dozens of operators. They can scan the entire country for available, high-quality aircraft in minutes. They can find you that one empty leg flying back from Miami that saves you 40%. They can be a lifesaver if you have a complex itinerary that requires multiple types of aircraft. The point isn't that you should never use a broker. The point is that you must always know who you are dealing with. The power is in the knowledge. And the industry has been notoriously opaque about this for decades. In fact, it got so confusing that the Department of Transportation had to step in. They created a rule, DOT Part 295, that explicitly requires air charter brokers to disclose that they are brokers, not direct operators, and they must tell you the name of the actual Part 135 operator before you book. So when you ask that magic question, will you be operating this flight under your own FAA air carrier certificate? You're not just being a savvy customer. You are literally forcing them to comply with federal regulations. You are demanding the transparency that the law requires. You're peeling back the marketing and looking at the raw operational truth of the company you're about to trust with your time, your money, and your safety. You're moving from being a passenger to being an informed principal in the transaction. And this knowledge changes everything. Changes the questions you ask next. It changes how you evaluate price. A quote from a broker has a commission baked into it. A quote from an operator is the direct cost. Sometimes a broker's buying power can actually get you a better deal, but you can't know that unless you understand the structure of the deal itself. Knowing whether you're talking to a broker or an operator is the first most critical step. It's the foundation upon which all your other decisions are built. But once you've cleared that hurdle, once you've found a direct Part 135 operator who owns the planes and employs the crews, a new, even more important question arises. Just because they have the certificate, does it mean they are safe? Are all operators created equal? The answer is a resounding no. 2 companies can both hold a Part 135 certificate, but one might be the gold standard of safety, while the other is doing the bare minimum to stay legal. How can you, as a customer, possibly tell the difference? How do you look past the FAA certificate and find out if an operator is truly safe? Well, the private aviation industry has a solution. A system of third-party audits and safety ratings that separate the best from the rest. And understanding these ratings is the next secret you need to know. Think of it like this. The FAA's Part 135 certificate is the government saying, okay, you meet the absolute minimum legal standard to fly passengers for money. It's like getting your driver's license. It means you passed the test, but it says nothing about how good of a driver you actually are. It doesn't tell you if you speed, if you check your blind spots, or if you maintain your car properly. It's just the baseline. But when you're flying at 40,000 feet, you don't want the baseline. You want the best. You want the operator who goes so far beyond the minimum requirements that the FAA's rules look like a starting point, not a finish line. That's where the third-party auditors come in. In the United States, there are 2 dominant, highly respected names you absolutely need to know: Argus and Wyvern. These companies are the independent rating agencies of private aviation safety. They are the Moody's, the Standard & Poor's, the J.D. Power of the skies. Their entire business model is built on one thing: trust. They have no skin in the game other than providing an unbiased, brutally honest assessment of an air carrier's safety culture, maintenance practices, and operational history. They dig deeper than any regulator ever could. Let's start with Argus, which stands for the Aviation Research Group United States. They have a tiered rating system, and understanding it is like having a secret decoder ring for the charter industry. The first level you might hear about is Argus Gold. Now, gold sounds pretty good, right? And it is. To get a gold rating, an operator has to submit a ton of documentation. Argus performs what is essentially an in-depth background check. They look at the company's history, the accident and incident record, the licenses and certificates of the pilots, and the insurance coverage. It's a thorough, data-driven historical analysis. It proves the operator has a solid track record and a clean bill of health on paper. But here's the critical distinction. The gold rating is largely a historical, records-based check. It's looking in the rearview mirror. It's a fantastic start, but it doesn't involve an auditor physically visiting the operator's hangar. That's where the next level comes in, and this is the one that truly matters. Argus Platinum. The Platinum rating is the undisputed gold standard. It includes everything from the gold rating, but it adds the single most important element: a rigorous multi-day on-site audit. Argus sends a team of highly experienced aviation auditors. We're talking former FAA inspectors, retired airline captains, and master mechanics, to the operator's base of operations. And they inspect everything. They don't just look at the maintenance logs. They go into the hangar, they interview the mechanics, they check how tools are calibrated and how parts are stored. They don't just look at the pilot's training records. They sit in on training sessions, they scrutinize the flight operations manual, and they evaluate the entire command structure. They conduct a full body scan of the entire aviation department, looking for any crack in the foundation. They are specifically auditing for one thing: a proactive living breathing safety management system, or SMS. An SMS isn't just a binder on a shelf. It's a deeply ingrained company culture where every single employee, from the owner down to the person washing the plane, is empowered to identify and mitigate risk. It's a system for constantly learning, improving, and staying ahead of potential problems. Achieving an Argus Platinum rating is incredibly difficult, and it's incredibly expensive for the operator. They have to open their entire operation to outside scrutiny. Because of this, only a small fraction of all the charter operators in the country hold a platinum rating. It is a badge of honor that says, "We don't just meet the standards, we set the standards. We have been tested under a microscope and have been found to be among the best of the best." The other major player in this space is Wyvern. They operate on a similar principle and are just as respected. Their top-tier rating is called Wyvern Wingman. Just like Argus Platinum, the Wingman standard is only awarded after an operator successfully passes an intense on-site audit that examines their operational procedures, maintenance practices, and safety management system. If an operator tells you they are Wyvern approved, that's good. But what you want to hear is that they are Wyvern Wingman. That's the designation that carries the weight. It means they've met the Wingman standard, which is widely considered one of the most stringent and difficult safety benchmarks in the aviation industry. So why does this matter to you, the person chartering a jet? Because when you're presented with a quote, you might see 3 different options for a mid-sized jet, all flying the same route. One might be a few $1,000s cheaper. It's tempting, right? But a good broker will tell you why it's cheaper. They'll point out that the 2 more expensive options are from Argus Platinum or Wyvern Wingman operators, and the cheaper one is not. That price difference isn't just for a better brand of bottled water on board. That price difference is the investment the top-tier operator has made in their safety culture. It's the cost of extra pilot training, of a more robust maintenance program, of undergoing these voluntary, expensive audits to prove their commitment to excellence. You are paying for a proven, verified, and audited level of safety that goes far beyond the legal minimum. Choosing a Platinum or Wingman operator is the single most effective way to mitigate risk when flying private. It's your guarantee that you're not flying with a company that just talks about safety, but with one that has invested millions of dollars and thousands of man-hours to make it the core of their identity. But the secret weapon of safety doesn't even stop there. There's one more layer that the best brokers use, and it's something you should always ask for. It's called a trip-specific safety report. Argus calls it a trip CHEQ, and Wyvern calls it a PASS report, which stands for Pilot and Aircraft Safety Survey. This is where it gets really amazing. The operator's overall rating, Platinum or Wingman, is a fantastic indicator of their quality. But the Trip CHEQ or PASS report is a real-time safety audit of your specific flight. Before you get on that plane, your broker can run a report that checks everything for that day, for that tail number, for that crew. It verifies that the specific jet you are about to board is airworthy and has all its inspections up to date. It verifies that the 2 pilots in the cockpit by name have the required flight time, that their medical certificates are current, that their training on that specific aircraft type is complete, and that they haven't flown more hours than regulations allow. It even checks that the operator's insurance is valid for your specific flight. It is the ultimate final green light. You get a report that comes back with a simple color-coded answer. Green means every single data point for your plane, and your crew meets the stringent Argus or Wyvern standard. Anything else is a red flag. A great broker will never let you fly if that report doesn't come back green. Period. End of story. This is a level of transparency and peace of mind that is simply unparalleled. It's the industry's way of policing itself at the highest level. So when you're booking a charter, you don't just ask, is the operator safe? You ask, is the operator Argus Platinum or Wyvern Wingman rated? And will you be providing me with a greenlit trip EQ or pass report before my flight? If the answer to either of those questions is no, you walk away. It's that simple. So now you know the ultimate secret to ensuring safety. You know how to separate the truly elite operators from the thousands of others. You know that the foundation of any good charter flight isn't the leather seats or the champagne, but the audited, verified safety rating of the company operating the aircraft. With that knowledge, you're ready to look at the planes themselves. Because once you've filtered for safety, the next big decision is choosing the right aircraft for your mission. This is where people make the most expensive mistakes. They book a jet that's too small and end up miserable, or book one that's too big and waste tens of thousands of dollars. The world of private jets is broken down into distinct categories, from tiny turboprops to massive ultra-long-range jets, and understanding the difference is the key to getting the most value for your money. Let's start at the bottom of the ladder with the aircraft that isn't even technically a jet, the turboprop. Think of planes like the King Air 350. These are the rugged, reliable pickup trucks of the sky. They use propellers driven by a jet turbine engine. And while they might not have the glamour of a Gulfstream, they are absolute workhorses. Their superpower? They can get into tiny airports with short runways that most jets can't even dream of touching. If you're a real estate developer needing to visit 3 remote sites in rural Montana in a single day, a turboprop is your best friend. It's cost-effective for flights under about 600 miles, it's versatile, and it's incredibly safe. The trade-off? They're slower, flying at around 300 miles per hour compared to the 500 plus of a jet. They also fly at lower altitudes, which means you're more likely to feel the bumps of weather. The cabin is comfortable but not spacious, and you'll definitely hear those propellers. For a quick hop from Dallas to a ranch in West Texas, it's brilliant. For a trip from Dallas to New York, you'd be climbing the walls. Now let's step into the world of pure jets with the Very Light Jet, or VLJ. This is the air taxi category, dominated by planes like the Embraer Phenom 100 and the futuristic-looking Honda Jet. These are the sports cars of private aviation. They're designed for speed and efficiency on short routes, typically for 2 to 4 passengers. Think of a tech founder zipping from San Jose to Las Vegas for a conference, or a lawyer flying from Miami to Tampa for a deposition. The trip is only an hour or two, and they're traveling light. And I mean light. This is the single biggest mistake first-time charter clients make in this category. They see 4 seats and assume it's like a car. It's not. The baggage compartment on a VLJ is often laughably small. You might fit 2 rollerboard bags and a couple of briefcases, and that's it. Forget golf clubs. Forget large suitcases. The cabin is compact, and while there's usually a toilet, it's often a tiny, non-private affair tucked under a seat cushion. But for the right mission, they are unbeatable. They're fast, they're efficient, and they offer the lowest entry price point into the world of private jet charter. One step up from there, and you land in the most popular charter category in the United States. The light jet. This is the bread and butter of the industry. We're talking about iconic aircraft like the Cessna Citation series, the CJ3 or CJ4, and the Learjet family. Think of these as the luxury sedans of the sky. They typically seat 6 to 7 passengers comfortably, and are the go-to choice for flights up to about 3 hours. A team flying from Chicago to Atlanta for a business meeting? A family from Southern California heading to Cabo San Lucas for a long weekend? This is the sweet spot. You get a significant bump in speed and cabin comfort over a VLJ. The lavatory is now a proper, enclosed room, a crucial upgrade for longer flights or when traveling with colleagues. Baggage space is much more generous, so you can actually bring the golf clubs this time. This category represents the perfect balance of performance, comfort, and cost for a huge percentage of domestic travel. It's not cheap, but it delivers the full private jet experience without the eye-watering price tag of its bigger brothers. But what if you need to cross the country? What if you have more people or just want more room to stretch out? That's when you graduate to the mid-size jet. Planes like the Hawker 800 XP or the Citation XLS Plus define this class. The biggest upgrade here is cabin volume. Many of these jets offer what's called a stand-up cabin, which is a bit of a marketing term. For most people, it's more of a stoop-and-walk cabin, but the ability to stand up and move around without crouching is a game-changer on a 4 or 5-hour flight. This is the aircraft for a family of 6 flying from New York to Aspen for a ski trip, with all their gear. It's for a band doing a show in Nashville and then flying to Austin. Mid-size jets often have a small galley, allowing for better catering options than just a box of snacks. Some even have a dedicated flight attendant. Their real advantage, though, is range. While most can't fly nonstop from New York to Los Angeles against the strong winter headwinds, they can easily handle routes like Boston to Dallas or Seattle to Miami. They're the luxury SUVs of the sky. More space, more capability, and a much more comfortable ride for the long haul. If you absolutely, positively need to fly from a meeting in Manhattan to a lunch in Beverly Hills without stopping, you need to enter the realm of the super mid-size jet. This is where private aviation starts to feel truly luxurious. We're talking about best-in-class aircraft like the Bombardier Challenger 350 and the Gulfstream G280. These jets were engineered with one mission in mind: conquering the continental United States. They can fly non-stop from coast to coast in any weather, any time of year. They are faster, flying higher above commercial traffic and turbulence, resulting in a glass-smooth ride. The cabins are genuinely stand-up, wide, and quiet. A flight attendant is standard, not optional. The galley is more sophisticated, capable of serving hot meals. You get more advanced entertainment systems and Wi-Fi that actually works consistently. This is the domain of Fortune 500 executives, A-list celebrities, and anyone for whom time is the most valuable asset. The step up in cost from a mid-sized jet is substantial, but what you're buying isn't just a bigger cabin. You're buying capability and time. You're buying the ability to leave Teterboro Airport in New Jersey after breakfast and land at Van Nuys in Los Angeles before lunch, completely refreshed and ready for business. Finally, we reach the top of the pyramid: heavy jets and ultra-long-range aircraft. These are the flagships, the flying palaces. Think of the Gulfstream G650, the Bombardier Global 7500, or the Dassault Falcon 8X. These are not just planes, they are statements. Their mission isn't just crossing a country, it's crossing oceans. Flying from LA to Tokyo nonstop, from Miami to Moscow. These jets are designed for 12, 14, even 16-hour flights. The cabins are often divided into multiple zones: a forward club section for meetings, a dining area in the middle, and a private stateroom in the back with a bed that lies completely flat. They have full-size galleys where a flight attendant can prepare multi-course gourmet meals. Some even have showers. The baggage compartments are cavernous, designed to hold luggage for a dozen people on a 2-week international trip. This is the aircraft for a royal delegation, a world-famous musician on a global tour, or a tech billionaire who views the world as their backyard. The cost is astronomical, often exceeding $20,000 per hour. But for those who operate on a global stage, the ability to fly anywhere in the world on their schedule, in total privacy and comfort, is not a luxury, it's a necessity. So you see, choosing a private jet isn't like picking a car. You can't just say, "I want the fast one." The right aircraft is a direct reflection of the mission. How many people? How much luggage? How far are you going? And critically, what kind of airports do you need to use? Picking a heavy jet for a 1-hour flight is like using a sledgehammer to crack a nut. An incredibly expensive, inefficient nut. And trying to cram a family of 5 and their ski gear into a light jet for a cross-country trip is a recipe for misery. Understanding these categories is the first and most important step in controlling your costs and ensuring your experience matches your expectations. But picking the plane is only half the battle. Now you have to actually book it. And the way you do that, whether through a broker, an app, or directly with an operator, can be the difference between a seamless experience and a financial nightmare. That's where the real games are played, and where the hidden fees and secret commissions can turn your dream trip into a costly lesson. So let's break down the battlefield. When you decide to charter a private jet, you're essentially walking up to 3 different doors. Behind each door is a different way of doing business, a different set of rules, and a completely different price structure. Choosing the right door is the single most important decision you will make. Door number 1 is the most common. This is the world of the charter broker. Think of a broker as a hyper-specialized, elite travel agent for the sky. They don't own any planes. They don't employ any pilots. Their entire business is built on one thing: connections. A good broker has a massive, constantly updated database of every available, certified aircraft in the country. Their job is to be your single point of contact, your industry insider. You call them up and say, "I need to get from Teterboro, New Jersey to Aspen, Colorado tomorrow morning. 6 passengers. We have ski equipment. And I need catering from my favorite deli in Manhattan." A great broker says, "No problem." They get to work calling multiple operators, comparing aircraft, negotiating prices, checking safety ratings, and arranging every single detail, from the ground transportation that picks you up to the specific brand of champagne you want waiting for you on board. The appeal is obvious. It's a one-stop shop. It's maximum convenience. You leverage their expertise and their network to find the best possible option, without having to make a dozen phone calls yourself. They can often find you an aircraft when you think none are available, because they know who to call and which operators have planes sitting idle. But here's the billion-dollar question. How do they get paid? This is where the transparency game begins. A reputable broker will charge a transparent fee, a set percentage on top of the operator's actual cost. It might be 10%, it might be 15%. They show you the quote from the aircraft operator, and then they show you their fee. It's clean, it's honest. But the dark side of the brokerage world is filled with opaque pricing. Many brokers will get a net price from the operator, and then mark it up by an undisclosed amount before they present it to you. They might get a quote for $25,000 and show you an all-in price of $32,000, pocketing the $7,000 difference without you ever knowing the true cost. This is incredibly common. They're essentially betting that you won't do the homework to find out what the flight should have cost. The convenience is what you're paying for, but the hidden premium can be staggering. Now let's open door number 2. Booking directly with an operator. An operator is the actual company that owns, manages, and flies the aircraft. They hold the FAA Part 135 certificate, which is the license to legally fly charter passengers. Going direct means you are cutting out the middleman. You are talking to the people who are directly responsible for the jet, the pilots, and the safety of your flight. The biggest potential advantage here is cost. Without a broker's commission layered on top, you can often get a better price. You're also communicating directly with the source. If there's a maintenance issue or a weather delay, you're not playing a game of telephone through a broker. You're getting information straight from the people managing the flight. Feels more direct, more in control. But this path comes with its own set of challenges. First, most operators have a limited fleet. A single operator might have a few light jets and a couple of mid-sized jets. If you need a heavy jet for an international trip, or if all their planes are already booked, you're out of luck. You'd have to start your search all over again with another operator. A broker, on the other hand, can see hundreds of available planes from dozens of operators simultaneously. The second and far more critical challenge is due diligence. When you work with a good broker, they are vetting the operator's safety record for you. When you go direct, that responsibility falls squarely on your shoulders. You need to ask for their Part 135 certificate. But more importantly, you need to check their third-party safety audit status. In the US, the 2 gold standards are Argus and Wyvern. These are independent companies that perform incredibly deep audits on an operator's safety culture, maintenance history, and pilot training records. An operator with an Argus Platinum or Wyvern Wingman rating has proven they go far, far beyond the FAA's minimum requirements. If you book direct with an operator who doesn't have one of these top-tier ratings, you're not necessarily unsafe, but you are accepting a level of risk that the most seasoned private flyers would never even consider. You're saving a few bucks by becoming your own safety inspector. For many, that's a trade-off they're not willing to make. Finally, we have door number 3. This is the newest, shiniest door, plastered with tech company logos and promises of disruption. This is the world of jet cards and app-based memberships. The pitch is seductive. The simplicity of Uber for private jets. You buy a jet card for, say, $250,000, which gives you 25 hours of flight time on a light jet. You get a fixed, all-inclusive hourly rate. No quoting, no negotiating. You just open the app, book your flight, and go. This model is designed to solve the 2 biggest pain points of on-demand charter: price volatility and availability. With a jet card, you know exactly what you're going to pay per hour, whether it's a Tuesday in April or the Sunday after Thanksgiving. Feels predictable, feels safe. But the business model behind these cards is where the devil hides in the details. First, that massive upfront payment is called float. You're giving the company a $250,000 interest-free loan. They invest that money and make returns on it for months or even years before you ever use it up. Second, that fixed hourly rate is almost never truly all-inclusive. Read the fine print. You'll find clauses for fuel surcharges, which can add thousands to a coast-to-coast flight when oil prices are high. You'll find international fees, de-icing fees, and special catering charges. And most importantly, you'll find restrictions on peak travel days. Try to book a flight to Florida the week before Christmas, and you'll either find it's completely blacked out, or you'll have to pay a 25% to 50% peak day surcharge, completely negating the benefit of your fixed rate. Furthermore, these jet card companies are, for the most part, simply very large brokers. They don't own the planes. When you book a trip through their app, they turn around and charter a plane from a third-party operator on the wholesale market, just like a traditional broker. They are betting that, on average, they can procure those planes for less than the fixed hourly rate you're paying them. Sometimes they win, sometimes they lose. But their entire model is built on a complex arbitrage of aircraft supply and demand, all while using your money to fund their operations. So you have the broker, the connected insider who can find you anything but might be hiding their true margin. You have the operator, the direct source that can save you money but requires you to do your own homework and safety checks. And you have the jet card, the subscription model that promises simplicity, but is riddled with fine print and massive upfront costs. Each of these doors leads to a very different journey. But what none of them advertise, what remains the skeleton in the closet for the entire industry, is how they handle the physical location of the planes themselves. Because the jet you book isn't sitting at your local airport waiting for you like a taxi. It's constantly moving, flying other clients, repositioning across the country. And the logistics of that movement are governed by a set of unwritten rules and hidden costs that affect every single charter flight. This is where the concepts of empty legs, transient aircraft, and one-way pricing come into play. And understanding this one piece of the puzzle is the absolute key to unlocking the true cost of private aviation, and to avoiding the single most common and costly mistake that first-time charter clients make. To understand this, we first have to travel back in time to the old way of doing things. For decades, the private jet charter industry operated on a very simple, but very inefficient model. Every private jet had a home, an airport where it was based. Let's say you own a charter company, John's Jets, and your one beautiful mid-sized jet is based at Teterboro Airport in New Jersey, right outside New York City. Now a client calls you. They're a high-powered executive and they need to get to a board meeting in Miami one way. They need to leave tomorrow morning. You say, absolutely, we can do that. So you fly your client from Teterboro to Miami. It's a 3-hour flight. The client thanks you, gets off the plane and goes to their meeting. But now you have a problem. A big, expensive problem. Your jet, your multi-million-dollar asset, is sitting in Miami, but its home is in Teterboro. All your crew, your maintenance facility, your next scheduled charter, it's all based back in New Jersey. You have to get the plane back home. So, you have to fly it completely empty for 3 hours from Miami back to Teterboro. This empty flight is called a deadhead, or a repositioning leg. And who do you think pays for that? You guessed it, the original client. So when John's Jets quoted that executive for his one-way flight to Miami, they didn't just charge him for the 3 hours he was on the plane. They had to charge him for the 3-hour empty flight back, too. In reality, he paid for 6 hours of flight time for a 3-hour trip. He paid for a full round trip, even though he only flew one way. For years, this was just the cost of doing business. It's why one-way private flights were astronomically expensive. You were always paying to get the plane back to its home base. Now, clever operators realized this was a massive waste. They had these empty planes flying all over the country, burning fuel and engine time for no reason. So they came up with a clever little marketing tool called the empty leg. An empty leg is that scheduled empty repositioning flight, the Miami to Teterboro leg in our example. The operator would say, hey, we have to fly this plane back to Teterboro anyway. Why don't we try to sell the seats at a huge discount? You'd see these advertised for 50, 60, even 75% off the normal charter price. And on the surface, it sounds like the deal of a lifetime. A private jet for the price of a first-class ticket. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. Empty legs are notoriously unreliable. They are entirely dependent on the original, full-paying passenger. Let's say that executive in Miami has his board meeting finish early. He calls the operator and says, I'm ready to go now. 3 hours ahead of schedule. Guess what? Your discounted empty leg now leaves 3 hours early, whether you're at the airport or not. Or what if his meeting gets canceled altogether? He calls and cancels his flight. Poof! Your empty leg just vanished. The plane is no longer flying back to Teterboro, and your dream trip is canceled, often with just a few hours' notice, leaving you completely stranded. Empty legs are a gamble. They're great for a spontaneous, low-stakes getaway, but you would never, ever bet your crucial business deal or your family's non-refundable vacation on one. This entire inefficient, unreliable system was ripe for disruption. And that disruption came in the form of two revolutionary concepts: the floating fleet and true one-way pricing. The largest and most sophisticated charter operators in the world, companies like VistaJet, NetJets, FlexJet, and many of the big players that brokers use, looked at this problem and threw the entire home base concept out the window. They said, what if our jets don't have a home? What if the entire United States is their home? This is the floating fleet model. Instead of having a jet based in Teterboro, they have hundreds of jets positioned strategically all over the country, like pieces on a giant chessboard. They use incredibly complex software that analyzes demand, weather patterns, and aircraft maintenance schedules to constantly optimize the location of their entire fleet. So now when a client wants to fly from New York to Miami, a floating fleet operator dispatches a jet. It completes the flight, but instead of flying back to New York empty, it simply stays in Florida. It floats. The system knows there's high demand in South Florida. It waits there for its next mission, which might be a flight from Palm Beach to Dallas later that day. And the jet that was in Dallas? It might fly to Los Angeles. The Los Angeles jet might fly to Las Vegas. The entire fleet is in constant, fluid motion, a nationwide web of aircraft ready to be deployed from wherever they last landed. It's the Uber or Lyft model, but for private jets. The closest available car, or in this case jet, is dispatched to you. And here is the absolute key that unlocks everything. Because the plane doesn't need to fly back empty, the operator can offer true one-way pricing. They only need to charge you for the time you are on the aircraft. That 3-hour flight from New York to Miami is now billed as a 3-hour flight, not 6. The cost of that one-way trip is suddenly cut almost in half. This was a seismic shift. It made private aviation far more efficient, logical, and accessible. So now we can finally reveal the single most common and costly mistake that first-time private flyers make. It's being seduced by a low hourly rate without understanding the pricing model behind it. Let me paint you a picture. You're a new client, and you need a one-way flight from Los Angeles to Aspen on a light jet. You call 2 providers. The first is a small local operator. We'll call them Van Nuys Jets. They have 1 or 2 planes based right there in Van Nuys. They quote you a fantastic hourly rate, $6,000 per hour. Sounds like a great deal. The second provider is a large national broker who uses a floating fleet. They quote you a higher hourly rate, $7,500 per hour. Instinctively, you think Van Nuys Jets is the obvious choice. It's $1,500 cheaper per hour. But you're about to make a $20,000 mistake. The flight from LA to Aspen is about 2 hours. Van Nuys Jets, with its home-based aircraft, has to get its plane back to LA, so they have to charge you for the 2-hour flight there and the 2-hour empty flight back. They are billing you for 4 hours of flight time. 4 hours at $6,000 an hour is a total cost of $24,000. Now let's look at the broker with the floating fleet. Their hourly rate is higher, at $7,500. But they have a jet that just dropped someone off in Salt Lake City, and it's now sitting there waiting for its next trip. They can easily position it to you in LA and fly you to Aspen. After they drop you off, that jet will wait in Aspen for its next assignment, which might be flying a different client to Chicago. It doesn't need to return to LA. So they charge you only for the time you're on board, 2 hours. 2 hours at $7,500 an hour is a total cost of $15,000. Let that sink in. By choosing the provider with the cheaper hourly rate, you would have paid an extra $9,000. This is the trap. The hourly rate is a vanity metric if you don't know the context. The real metric is the total, all in quote. The most important question you can ask a provider when booking a one-way flight is this a true one-way price from a floating fleet? Or does this price include the cost for the aircraft to return to its base? Not knowing to ask this simple question is the #1 reason people overpay, sometimes by tens of thousands of dollars, on their first few private flights. They get burned, they think private aviation is an unfair scam, and they never come back. But now you know better. You understand the fundamental difference between the old round-trip model and the new efficient one-way model. But this system, as brilliant as it is, isn't perfect. The floating fleet model works beautifully when you're flying between major hubs, New York, LA, Miami, Chicago. But what happens when you want to fly to a small, remote airport in Montana for a fishing trip? Or what happens when 1,000 other private jets are all trying to fly into the same small airport for the Super Bowl or the Masters? That's when the system gets stressed, and a whole new category of hidden costs and logistical challenges emerges. Terms like peak day surcharges, daily minimums, and de-icing fees can suddenly appear on your invoice, turning your well-priced trip into a financial nightmare. And navigating that is the next level of becoming a truly savvy private flyer. Let's break down that financial minefield, starting with the sneakiest charge of them all, the daily minimum. This is a concept that trips up even seasoned travelers. You see, an operator doesn't just charge you for the time you're in the air. They charge a minimum flight time per day, usually around 2 hours. So let's say you book a light jet for a quick 45-minute hop from Los Angeles to Las Vegas for a business meeting, and you plan to return the same day. Your total flight time is 1.5 hours, but the operator's daily minimum is 2 hours. You will be billed for 2 hours of flight time. Why? Because from the operator's perspective, that aircraft and its 2-person crew are dedicated entirely to you for that entire day. They can't just drop you off and immediately pick someone else up. They have to wait for you. That plane, a multi-million-dollar asset, is sitting on the ground, not earning money. The pilots are on duty, unable to fly another trip. The daily minimum ensures that dedicating the entire operational infrastructure to your short trip is financially viable for them. It covers the opportunity cost of not being able to take a more lucrative, longer flight. So when you see a quote for a short flight that seems a bit high, check the daily minimums. It's often the hidden factor driving up the price. Next up, peak day surcharges. This is pure, unadulterated supply and demand. Think about trying to book an Uber during a rainstorm on New Year's Eve. The price skyrockets. The private jet world is no different, just with more zeros. Peak days are the busiest travel days of the year. The Wednesday before Thanksgiving, the Sunday after, the week between Christmas and New Year's. But it also includes major events: the Super Bowl, the Masters Golf Tournament, the Kentucky Derby. Every available jet within a 500-mile radius is booked solid. Operators know this. So, on these specific dates, they add a surcharge, often between 10 and 25%, on top of the hourly rate. Furthermore, they might increase the daily minimums from 2 hours to 3 or even 4. They might also require a non-refundable deposit far in advance. If you have to travel on these days, you have to pay the premium. The savvy flyer, however, knows this calendar. They plan around it. Flying on the Monday before Thanksgiving instead of Wednesday can literally save you $10,000. It's about strategic planning, understanding that the calendar is one of your most powerful negotiation tools. But the one fee that causes the most shock, the one that can single-handedly derail a budget and create genuine horror stories, is de-icing. This isn't a surcharge. It's a safety-critical, weather-dependent, and wildly expensive variable. When an aircraft sits on the ground in cold, wet conditions, ice can form on its wings and control surfaces. Even a thin layer, as rough as sandpaper, can disrupt the smooth flow of air over the wing, drastically reducing its ability to generate lift and potentially making the plane unflyable. It has to be removed. The process involves spraying the aircraft with a special heated fluid, a mixture of glycol and water. There are 2 main types. Type 1 is a hot, orange-colored fluid used for immediate removal. Type 4 is a thicker, green-colored gel that provides a protective anti-icing layer to prevent new ice from forming before takeoff. Here's the terrifying part. This fluid is incredibly expensive. And you're not just paying for the fluid, you're paying for the specialized trucks, the trained personnel, and the airport's environmental fees to handle the runoff. For a light jet, a simple de-ice might cost a few $1,000s. But for a heavy jet like a Gulfstream, caught in a bad winter storm in Aspen or Teterboro, you could be looking at a bill for $20,000, $30,000, even $50,000 or more. It's a non-negotiable safety of flight item. The pilot makes the call and you pay the bill, whatever it is. There's no shopping around once you're at the airport. So how do you manage this risk? First, if you're flying in winter, always ask if hangar space is available. Paying a few $100 or even $1,000 to keep the plane in a hangar overnight can save you a $50,000 de-icing bill the next morning. Second, build a contingency into your budget. If you're flying to a cold weather destination, assume you might have to pay for de-icing. A good broker will warn you about this and might even suggest prepaying for a de-icing assurance program if one is available. Ignoring the possibility of de-icing is one of the biggest rookie mistakes in private aviation. Beyond those big 3, there's a whole constellation of smaller charges that can add up. Let's run through them. Fuel surcharges. The initial quote is based on a certain fuel price. But fuel prices are volatile. If there's a significant spike between when you book and when you fly, that cost is passed directly on to you. It's a hedge for the operator against market fluctuations. Then there are crew fees. If your trip requires the pilots to stay overnight, you are responsible for their expenses. This includes their hotel rooms, a daily allowance for food called a per diem, and their transportation to and from the airport. It's a standard part of the deal, but it can add $1,000 or more per night to your total cost. Thinking of flying internationally? Get ready for a whole new level of fees. International trips involve landing permits, overflight permits for each country you cross, customs and immigration fees which can vary wildly by airport, and sometimes even mandatory handling fees at foreign airports that are far higher than in the US. These can add thousands to the bill and require weeks of planning. Even something as simple as Wi-Fi can be a trap. While some newer jets have it included, on many aircraft, in-flight Wi-Fi is billed by the megabyte. It's not like your home internet. It's a satellite connection that can cost $5 to $10 per megabyte. Few emails are fine, but stream a Netflix movie or hold a Zoom call, and you could be greeted with a four-figure Wi-Fi bill upon landing. And finally, there's catering. Yes, a basic stock of snacks and drinks is usually complimentary, but if you want a specific bottle of Dom Perignon champagne, fresh sushi from Nobu, or a full multi-course meal, that is all billed at a significant premium. The FBO or a third-party caterer is sourcing, preparing, and delivering these items specifically for your flight, and they charge accordingly. So when you see a quote that seems all-inclusive, your first question should be, what specifically is not included? Does it include de-icing? Unlikely. Does it cover potential crew overnights if we're delayed? Probably not. Is the high-speed Wi-Fi a flat rate or per megabyte? Ask. A transparent quote from a reputable broker will break all of this down. It will list the flight cost, the 7.5% federal excise tax, segment fees, and then clearly outline the potential variables like de-icing, international permits, and custom catering. Their job isn't just to find you a plane. It's to protect you from financial shock. They've seen all these hidden costs before, and they know how to anticipate them. They are your financial co-pilot, navigating the complex invoices and ensuring there are no surprises when you land. By now, you understand the hardware, the business models, and the complex finances that make this industry tick. You know the metal and the money, but the entire system, all of this multi-million-dollar machinery and intricate logistics, hinges on the small group of people in the cockpit. Their world is one of immense pressure, constant training, and split-second decisions that carry the ultimate consequences. And understanding their reality, the life of a private jet pilot, is the final key to truly understanding how this whole world really works. The phone rings at 10 p.m. on a Tuesday. It's not a friend, it's not family. It's a number the pilot knows means their life is about to change for the next 72 hours. On the other end, a dispatcher says, "Wheels up from Teterboro at 0600. We're taking a client to Aspen, then likely down to Scottsdale. Pack for 3 days, could be 5. The tail number is November 123 X-ray. Trip sheet is in your inbox." And just like that, sleep is over. The mission has begun. This isn't a job you clock out of. It's a state of being. For the charter pilot, this is the start of a complex, high-stakes ballet that the passenger will never see. While the client is sleeping soundly, dreaming of ski slopes or desert golf, their pilot is already at war with physics, weather, and time. The first step isn't packing a bag. It's opening a laptop. They pull up the trip sheet. It's not just a schedule, it's a puzzle. Teterboro to Aspen. The computer immediately flags a dozen potential issues. The weather over the Rockies is turbulent. Aspen's airport is notoriously difficult, sitting in a valley at nearly 8,000 feet, surrounded by mountains. It has one of the most challenging approaches in North America. A straight shot isn't possible. The pilot has to plot a route that weaves through mountain passes, respecting minimum safe altitudes every single mile of the way. Then there's the performance calculation. It's 25 degrees Fahrenheit in Teterboro, but it's going to be 70 in Scottsdale. The air density will be completely different. A jet performs brilliantly in cold, dense air, but gets sluggish in hot, thin air. The pilot has to calculate the takeoff distance required for every single leg of the trip. Can the jet, fully loaded with passengers, bags, and fuel, actually get off the runway in Aspen if the temperature rises unexpectedly? How much fuel can they carry? Too much, and they're too heavy to land safely. Too little, and they have no options if the weather turns bad and they need to divert to Denver. This isn't a guess. It's a series of unforgiving mathematical equations. One misplaced decimal point has catastrophic consequences. By 3 a.m., the pilot and their co-pilot have conferred. They've filed a preliminary flight plan, checked all the NOTAMs or notices to airmen, which list any temporary changes to the national airspace system. A runway light could be out. A navigation beacon could be down for maintenance. They have to know it all. They arrive at the FBO around 4:30 a.m., 2 hours before the client is even scheduled to show up. The first thing they do is walk out to that cold, dark, silent airplane. This is the pre-flight inspection. But it's not just kicking the tires. It's an intimate, tactile conversation with a multi-million-dollar machine. They run their hands along the wing's leading edge, feeling for any imperfection. They check the hydraulic lines for leaks, the turbine blades for any sign of damage, the pitot tubes, the instruments that measure airspeed, for any blockage from ice or even an insect. They are looking for the one tiny thing that's out of place, the single clue that the machine isn't perfectly healthy. They check the aircraft's maintenance log. Has anything been flagged? Was it fixed correctly? They are the final gatekeepers of safety. They have the absolute authority to refuse to fly the aircraft if they are not 100% satisfied. It doesn't matter if the client is a billionaire CEO with a world-changing meeting to get to. If the plane isn't perfect, it doesn't leave the ground. Period. While one pilot is outside, the other is in the cockpit waking the machine up. The glass panels flicker to life, and they begin the systematic process of checking every switch, every light, every system. They load the flight plan into the flight management system, cross-checking every single waypoint. By the time the smell of fresh coffee fills the cabin, the pilots have already been working for hours, making hundreds of critical decisions. Then the client arrives, and the pilot's job changes completely. They are no longer just an aviator and a systems manager. They are now the face of the company, a concierge, a baggage handler, and a 5-star host. They greet the client with a calm, reassuring smile, take their bags, and offer them a drink. The immense cognitive load of the flight planning, the performance calculations, the weather analysis, it all has to be masked by an aura of effortless control. The client can't see the stress. They can't know that the pilot is simultaneously calculating contingency plans for an engine failure on takeoff while asking them if they prefer still or sparkling water. This is the duality of the charter pilot, an iron-willed commander in the cockpit, and a gracious host in the cabin. And this lifestyle comes at a cost. Charter pilots often work a rotation like 15 days on, 13 days off. During those 15 days on, they are nomads. They live out of a suitcase in hotels near airports thousands of miles from their families. They miss birthdays, anniversaries, and school plays. They might fly from New York to LA, only to be told upon landing that their next trip is from LA to Miami the following morning. The glamour of the destination is lost on them. They see the FBO, the hotel, and the inside of the cockpit. It's a grueling schedule that demands a unique kind of resilience. And to even qualify for this job requires a level of training that would astound most people. Twice a year, every single year. These pilots are put into a full-motion simulator that costs upwards of $20 million. For 2 or 3 days, an instructor in the back of the box does everything in their power to make the pilot fail. They simulate engine fires during the most critical phase of takeoff. They create total electrical failures in the middle of a thunderstorm. They simulate catastrophic cabin depressurization over the mountains. The pilot has to flawlessly execute emergency procedures from memory, over and over, until it's pure muscle memory. They have to pass this check ride. If they don't, they are grounded. They lose their job. There are no second chances. The pressure is immense. It's this constant, relentless training that separates the professionals from the amateurs. A private jet pilot flying a Gulfstream G650 may have more recurrent training and face more rigorous standards than the pilots of the airliner you fly on vacation. They have to be the master of one of the most complex machines ever built, and they have to prove that mastery every 6 months. And for all this, what do they earn? It varies wildly. A first officer on a light jet for a small operator might start around $70,000 or $80,000 a year. A seasoned captain on a large cabin, ultra-long-range jet like a Global 7500, flying for a top-tier management company or a Fortune 500 flight department, can earn well over $300,000, even $400,000 a year. But the career path is long. It takes years, thousands of flight hours, and an impeccable safety record to climb that ladder. Ultimately, the pilot is the human element that makes this entire world of convenience and luxury possible. They are the silent, unseen professionals operating at the highest level. They bridge the gap between two opposing realities: the client's desire for a seamless, effortless experience, and the brutal, unforgiving laws of physics and aerodynamics. They absorb all the complexity, all the risk, all the pressure so that the person in the back doesn't have to. When you charter a private jet, you're not just paying for the leather seats and the high-speed Wi-Fi. You are paying for the thousands of hours of training, the sleepless nights of planning, and the unwavering judgment of the two individuals in the cockpit. You are placing your life in their hands, trusting that they have done the work, anticipated the risks, and have the skill to handle any crisis imaginable. Because in the end, when the doors close and the engines spool up, they are the only thing that truly matters. But they are not alone. For every two pilots in the cockpit, there is an invisible army on the ground. An army of schedulers, dispatchers, maintenance technicians, line service workers, and caterers, all moving in a perfectly synchronized, high-stakes ballet that the passenger never sees. Before the wheels even think about leaving the ground, a certified aircraft mechanic, often one who specializes in that exact type of airframe and engine, has meticulously gone over the jet. They've signed logbooks, performed pre-flight checks, and personally certified that this multi-million-dollar machine is mechanically perfect. Their signature is a bond, a professional guarantee backed by years of training and federal licensing. Simultaneously, a dispatcher has been analyzing weather patterns not just at the departure and arrival airports, but across the entire flight path. They're looking at jet streams, potential turbulence, and thunderstorm development hundreds of miles away. They've calculated the precise fuel load needed, balancing weight against range, adding contingencies for potential delays or diversions, ensuring the flight plan is not just possible, but optimal. This isn't a suggestion. It's a complex mathematical and meteorological problem they solve for every single trip. While all this happens, the catering you requested, that specific brand of sparkling water, the sushi from that one restaurant downtown, the fresh fruit platter with no cantaloupe, is being sourced, prepared, and delivered to the FBO, kept at the perfect temperature until the moment it's loaded onto the aircraft. The line service crew has fueled the jet, towed it into position, and is standing by to guide the pilots out. Every single person in this chain is a critical link. A failure in any one of these roles can ground a flight, or worse. The luxury the passenger experiences is simply the beautiful, calm surface of a deep, churning ocean of intense, non-stop logistical effort. This is the hidden reality of private aviation. It is not just an industry of wealth, it is an industry of relentless precision. It's the ultimate expression of the idea that time is the only non-renewable resource. People don't pay tens of thousands of dollars for a flight just to drink champagne and avoid the TSA. They do it to bend time to their will. Imagine a CEO who needs to visit a manufacturing plant in Ohio, meet with investors in Chicago, and be back in New York for her daughter's school play, all in the same day. Commercially, this is impossible. The schedule is a non-starter. You'd lose hours to airport security, connections, delays, and boarding. It would be a 2, maybe even 3-day trip. But with a charter jet, the world map changes. She can leave her home in New York at 6 a.m., land on a small regional runway just miles from the Ohio plant by 7:30, finish her meeting, and be back in the air by 10. By 11 a.m., she's landing at a small executive airport in the Chicago suburbs, 10 minutes from her investor's office. The meeting wraps at 2 p.m., and by 2:15 she's wheels up again. She lands at Teterboro in New Jersey before 5 p.m., with a car waiting on the tarmac, and walks into the school auditorium just as the curtain rises. She has effectively created time. She has compressed 3 days of travel and work into less than 12 hours. That is the real product being sold. Not the leather seats or the quiet cabin. It's the ability to be in 3 places at once. It's the competitive advantage of speed. It's the priceless moment of seeing your child on stage that you otherwise would have missed. That is what a charter jet truly is. It's a time machine. But this incredible power comes with an undeniable cost. Not just financially, but environmentally. And the industry knows it. The image of the gas-guzzling private jet is a powerful and challenging one. In response, private aviation is at the forefront of a massive push for sustainability. The key word you'll hear everywhere is SAF, Sustainable Aviation Fuel. It's a biofuel created from sources like used cooking oil, agricultural waste, or algae. It can reduce carbon emissions by up to 80% compared to traditional jet fuel. The challenge? It's expensive and supply is limited, but major operators and corporations are pouring billions into its development and adoption. They are not just buying carbon offsets to plant trees. They are actively funding the science that will make flying cleaner. The goal for many in the industry is to achieve carbon neutrality in the coming decades, a goal that sounds audacious, but is being pursued with incredible urgency. And the innovation doesn't stop at fuel. The very idea of what a private aircraft is about to fundamentally change. For decades, we flew slower after the Concorde was retired, but supersonic flight is coming back. Companies like Boom Supersonic are developing aircraft designed to fly over twice the speed of sound, turning a 7-hour flight from New York to London into a 3.5-hour hop. Imagine leaving New York after breakfast and landing in London in time for a lunch meeting. This isn't science fiction. These planes are in development right now, with major airlines already placing orders. At the other end of the spectrum, for shorter distances, the revolution is electric. You've likely heard of eVTOLs, electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft. Think of them as a hybrid between a helicopter and a small plane. They are quiet, efficient, and emission-free. The vision is a world where you can summon an eVTOL like an Uber, fly from a rooftop in Manhattan to JFK Airport in under 10 minutes, bypassing all traffic. This will connect cities and airports in a way that was never before possible, making the entire travel ecosystem, from your door to your final destination, seamless and incredibly fast. This is the future that private aviation is building. Not just faster jets, but a smarter, more integrated, and more sustainable network of travel. So from that first phone call to a broker, through the complex dance of scheduling and safety checks, to the final gentle touchdown on the runway, the world of private jet charter is a universe unto itself. It is so much more than a luxury product. It's a logistical masterpiece, a demonstration of incredible technological achievement, and a service built on the most profound currency of all, trust. You are trusting the broker to find the right plane. You are trusting the operator to maintain it perfectly. You are trusting the ground crew, the dispatchers, and the schedulers to manage 1,000 moving parts without a single error. And ultimately, you are trusting 2 pilots at the front of a darkened cockpit, flying through the night at 500 miles an hour, 8 miles above the Earth. It's an industry that operates on the very edge of human capability, all to deliver its one core promise: to give you back your time, to allow you to be where you need to be when you need to be there without compromise. It's not about skipping the lines. It's about redrawing the map and rewriting the clock. That is how private jet charters really work. And that is why, for those who can access it, it remains the ultimate key to unlocking the world.